Lately, I feel like I've been at an interesting crossroads because my life just feels really full and really heavy and really challenging right now. And the thing is, on paper, I know that I am living a life that I would have loved to live maybe 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm married, I have a child, we live in Manhattan, and I feel like these are all good and wonderful things, but they've just felt really heavy. And I feel like I'm trying to do all the right things. I'm thoughtful about our money, I try to stay organized, I care about how we live, and I'm trying to build something here on YouTube. So I've been taking some time to reflect and think about how I need to reframe things and adjust my own expectations and possibly just let some things go. The thing is, I don't think there's any one specific thing that is wrong or not working. It just feels like the combination of everything is really heavy right now. It's a combination of being a parent, working full time, trying to keep our home running, and also wanting to grow this channel, which I really enjoy doing. And I feel like I'm putting a lot of like low level pressure on myself to do everything well. And sometimes the effort it takes to do something well, to me, doesn't feel like it matches the outcome, because I feel like that's just the outcome that I expected. And all this effort was, well, yeah, that's what it takes to achieve this outcome. Didn't you know that? And for myself, I am having to reevaluate that and think about how I want to adjust things in the future. So for example, let's start with parenthood, because I think a lot of this is just the stage that I'm in. My daughter is 3, about to be 4 in a few months, and it's just a very challenging phase. And yeah, of course, didn't you know that the age 3 and 4 would be challenging? Didn't you know that parenthood would be challenging? Of course. And while I want to say that it's the greatest joy of my life. My husband and I both feel like this is the greatest joy of our lives, and we love being parents with all of our heart and soul. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And I know this is a very common thing where the mom, as a default parent, takes on a lot of the stress and the burden and the invisible load in order to enable dad's career. And I feel like that's certainly happening in our house, and that's something that I'm fully aware of. It's also the pressure I put on myself to do things at a certain level. Like for example, the way I put my daughter together, like I insist on that she has her hair brushed and done before she leaves the house. And that's something that, yeah, sure, I could just let her go out without having her hair brushed, but that's something that I insist on. I insist on brushing teeth 2 times a day for 2 minutes each time. And that can be a huge battle. And a lot of these too are just sort of again, it's a stage of life. It's where she is. It's not always going to be a battle. And this is the time and the effort it takes to instill good habits. And I know that. This is incredibly challenging because, again, the effort I'm putting in, I'm not seeing it immediately reflected, which is just the way that this stage and parenthood is in general. I just need to reframe my expectations on this phase and how it will be going forward, and kind of make adjustments in other areas of my life, which is something that is so challenging to do, but is essential, I think, for my mental health at this point. So those other areas of my life that I need to adjust in order to accommodate the pressure and stress and energy that parenting takes are going to be things like my career and YouTube and my own personal hobbies and interests. Those things are going to contract based on the energy that parenting full-time takes. And that's just the way that it goes. And again, I know this, and I know that it's just a season. And that is why I'm fighting so hard to stay at a baseline rather than dropping some things completely, because I know that it is a season and it is changing. For example, with my career, I feel like my career has always been it's something that I've cared about, and it's something that I am committed to staying in the workforce, but it's not been something that's been super linear or direct for me. And that's an area that I am looking to grow. And I realize that this season it's going to be very challenging to do. However, I am committed to doing it, which is why I guess in the area of my career, I'm actually meeting with a career counselor later today. So I'm excited to report on that. And I know that's not letting things go, but that is getting help where I need. And sometimes it just have to be at a baseline, and there's no going above and beyond. Sometimes just doing your job is a victory. Often, almost all of the time, just doing my job is a huge victory. And I want to sort of take credit, or give myself credit for that. And I do my job to the standard to a high standard that I have for myself, but I'm not like going above and beyond at this point in my life. I'm hanging on, and that is huge. So that's just my full-time job career that I have. And then the second part is YouTube and this channel and how much I enjoy making personal finance content. And now I've kind of tried to start branching out into organizing content. I don't know if you've noticed that on my channel, but that is something that I am actively trying to do. And that's something that I really enjoy. And I think I would do anyway. I am monetized, so I do get income from this channel. However, that income is so small at this point that I am not doing it for the money. I do it for the love, not for the money. And I would be doing this even if I weren't monetized, because I ask myself that a lot. Because for me, it's especially in regard to personal finance, the act of learning more in order to create more videos is so beneficial and so positive. And I so appreciate the other people that make personal finance content that I really am committed to generating more content like that. That said, and I wanted to mention this, if you see a video from me, it took a minimum of an hour and a half to create. And I know that might just seem like I sit down in front of a camera and start rambling, but I actually do try to put some thought and some research into the videos that I'm making, and I try to craft an outline and have points that I'm hitting. So I do put some thought into these videos, and it takes a minimum of an hour and a half, usually closer to 3 hours to create. And again, very candidly, my revenue over the past 12 weeks has been about to where I'm making maybe $5 a video. I'm like, the amount of hours that I put in is like, I make maybe $1.50 per hour. So again, it's something that I do for love, not for money, but it's something that I need to reassess and figure out how I can adjust based on the amount of energy I have left over in my life, because that is the hierarchy and the order of operations, is that parenting comes first, my career comes second, and then YouTube will come third. So that brings me to my channel direction and what I'm doing here on YouTube. So at the beginning of the year, it was actually January 31st, I was like, I want to come back to YouTube. I'd been gone for 6 months and I want to come back. And I had this thought on a Friday, and I woke up on Saturday and I filmed and posted a video. And I committed to myself that I was going to do 12 weeks of consistent posting. And this is my last video over those 12 weeks that I had committed to. And then I would give myself permission to reassess and to see, where am I going? Is this worth my time and my energy? Because again, it's a minimum of 3 hours that I invest in each video. And just based on the financial return that I get, like, no, it's not really. The way that I was doing it isn't worth it, and it's not working. So I need to take time and reframe how I'm doing what I'm doing on YouTube, and figure out what I'm going to do different that might make it worthwhile. And I keep thinking, like, if I wasn't monetized, would I do this? And yes, I would, but it would look different. And I think that might be what my channel needs. So this is a part that I'm really interested in, and I would love to hear your feedback, because I want to make content that is impactful and helpful. And I realize that, like, the main interest is the videos that tend to do well are about me and my story, and especially where I'm failing, right? Like my failing at financial independence. Like, we're failing at that, but we are succeeding and living a life that we love every day. So that balance and that negotiation between share what I can share, what I feel comfortable sharing, what my family feels comfortable sharing, and B, what actually performs, is something that I'm like negotiating. And also the content that I want to produce is also something else that I'm working on. So that is what I am going to be kind of exploring and reassessing now during this period. So that is how I am going to adjust, because I had this realization over spring break. Like, it's just been a very, very tremendously challenging couple months, if I'm honest. And again, it's a very common situation for women to be in. And I'm like, okay, let me step back here and reassess what's going on. So that is what I'm going to do. And I feel like for me, over these past 12 weeks, the fact that I've gotten a video out, one video every week, is huge. And I do give myself like recognition for that. That's something that I feel tremendously proud of. If you're watching this far, thank you for watching this far, because I feel like we're on this journey kind of together in life. And I know, so I've been on YouTube 15 years now. No, sorry, 11 years. 11 years now. I started in 2015 and it's 2026 now. So 11 years. And I know that a lot of the people, I would say about half the people that I watched then are still on now. And maybe less. I want to say maybe 30% of the people that I watch now and that were impactful to me at the time are still on YouTube. And it's so helpful to have have sort of a full scope of someone's financial career because it's like it's peaks and valleys, it's like a roller coaster. And if I can do something small in like putting something out there to keep going and to give someone else sort of inspiration to keep going, that's huge to me. So that's kind of my thought behind that as well, behind the idea of keeping my channel going. That's something that kind of lands very heavily in that camp. So as I reassess, I will be taking all these things on board and figuring out a way that I can do it that feels lighter and a little bit more sustainable to me going forward. Okay, so if you've watched this far, thank you. And I am curious to hear, how does your life feel right now? Does it feel sustainable? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel light? Does it feel easy? What is the season of life that you're in? And how have you had to adjust in a way that has made sense for you? I love anything you have to share. I love so much hearing your comments and your feedback. It's so tremendously helpful, and I am so honored and happy to be on this journey with you. So thank you so much for watching this far. I appreciate you, and I hope you'll keep watching. Bye.